All right, what's up? What's up? Hey, Coach Noah here. So, if you're logging on for the first time, my name's Noah Harris. You can call me Coach Noah. I'm part of the Private Money Club team. I'm one of the coaches here at PMC. And on behalf of Chris Naugle, Stephen Nagy, Shauna, and the squad, welcome. Every single Thursday at 1 o'clock, we just hop on here and we practice private money lending, best practices, some of the fundamentals. I try to share some case studies. We celebrate your wins. I'll pull up privatemoneyclub.com. We'll see what's popping inside of the Private Money Club, see what deals are out there, see who's posting what, and show you some of the resources and things like that that people can take advantage of, right? Does that sound good, guys? Give me a big, oh yeah. You know, what's cool today, I thought today that we would actually talk about elevator pitches. Would that be good? Could we talk about that? This morning, a friend of mine is opening up. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'll just show you. You know, anytime you can give your friends a shout out for doing amazing things, I think it's good to share. So a friend of mine, real estate investors, they opened up a co-working space. It's called Venture X in Colombia, pretty sure. Yeah, so it's a co-working spot. Let me just pull it up. It's pretty cool. So like we're on here talking about real estate. I mean, they funded this one way or the other, so this business one way or the other. So let's talk about it. I'll show it to you. Shout out to Kim Rickman. Where am I at here, folks? Okay, there we go. So I went to this networking event, and this has everything to do with what we're going to talk about here today. We're going to talk about elevator pitches here today. All right, so this is the spot. Pretty cool. So this is a building in downtown Columbia, and they actually have the top floor. So they're completely renovating it. Bank of America's headquarters used to be there. They're completely renovating it and they're turning into like 100 different offices. So that's probably where Chris and I's office is going to be. Right now we're out of the house. We like it. It's cool. But I tell you what, when you're there and you're looking out the window and you can actually like see your properties, it was so cool to look out the window and be like, yeah, that's my house right there, as I was networking with people. And they'd be like, man, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a little rental house that we have there. If you look further down that road, we've got it was pretty cool. Powerful stuff. No better place to network than at the top of the world. I mean, we were in the clouds this morning. It was a little foggy. So this is the spot. So the old coach, I got to network. They were having this networking speed dating, not speed dating, speed networking thing, right? So you have 60 seconds to share about your business and who you are and all of these things. And so it was great practice. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit as we get into like the educational side of what we're gonna every single week I try to bring some education to it and also some repetitive things because I'm a big believer in just practicing, what to say, how to staying sharp, whether you're a borrower or lender. If you have a meeting, like if you have a networking event tonight, tomorrow morning, boom, you're on the right call. So if we can practice this and stay sharp all the time, then when the time comes, you don't have to be like, oh my gosh, what am I going to say? I'm so nervous. And then you just don't ever talk to anybody. You're just like a hanging out wallflower, right? So if you're hopping on the call for the first time, we do this training every single Thursday, 1 o'clock Eastern time. It's called the Quickstart webinar, brought to you by the Private Money Club. My name is Noah Harris. I am a real estate investor out of Columbia, South Carolina. Where's everybody else from? Type it in the chat box. I'm curious. Where's everybody else from? I've been investing in real estate for a little while now. Lots of times when I do case studies, I'll share a company called Revive Homes. That's my house flipping company. So we've been around a little over 12 years now. We're out of Columbia, South Carolina. My goal for every single person on this call is to help you, empower you with questions, knowledge, awareness around private money, how it works, this, that, and the other, so that we can aim for having a 100% track record in our business. That's the goal. We do what we say we are going to do, whether that's lending or borrowing. If you're lending, the number one rule of lending, anybody know what the number one rule of lending is? I don't know. I feel like it's a Warren Buffett thing. I don't know. Maybe just, I'm pretty sure it's a Warren Buffett thing. What's the number one rule in lending? Get your money back. Get your money back. First, you got to get your money back, right? Then it's the interest, and then it's the consistency and being able to do it over and over and over again so it's constantly working, right? And making those nice interest rates, right? Don't lose money. That's right, David said. Don't lose money. Don't lose money. So that's what we try to do here, right? Create that 100% track record. Now, private money lending is relationship based. Okay, so we're working with people. It's all about the relationships. When I was at the networking event this morning, it wasn't real estate. And we'll talk a little bit about that. It was actually all different kinds of businesses, business owners. There was a guy there there was one woman there that did physical therapy for people after they have babies. There was another guy there that I met who did crawl space work under houses, right? Getting rid of the mold and all that stuff. There was one, you had your IT guys, you had your finance. It was all different kinds of business owners that were at this event. And what was cool is it was about making a friend. It wasn't about the outcome. So in my mind, if I go to a networking event and in my responsibility in my wife and I's business is establishing relationships with private money lenders. I handle the financing side of the business. But I can't go into that networking event thinking that I'm going to leave with a check. Like that's silly, right? But what I can leave with are great relationships and meeting people that I didn't know before. And now and more importantly, they know me, right? And I got them thinking about, wow, I could make a 10% rate of return on my money secured by real estate that's worth much more. This is intriguing, right? And I'm getting messages on my phone. Hey, it was nice meeting you. Hey, it was nice meeting you, right? So it's about the relationships. It's about the relationships. So we'll dive into that more insight, more. I'll provide more context and give you some things to work on so that you can stay sharp in your elevator pitches. So every single person that's on this call, before you came in this room, you had to click a button that said, I agree, I acknowledge, I know. This business is risky. Real estate is risky. Private money lending can absolutely be risky. If a person doesn't know what they're doing, shoot, even if a person does know what they're doing, right? There's still risk involved in this business. I can't stress that enough. How do we begin to mitigate that, minimize it as much as we possibly can? We surround ourselves with the right team, the right business professionals. On my real estate investing team, I have a real estate agent that is an amazing real estate agent. She knows what she's doing. She knows the market. She's there to counsel and guide us and advise us on what we should be paying and selling properties for. Even though I have a general understanding, I rely on the professionals to do that. I have a real estate attorney who helps draft my mortgages, my promissory notes, my personal guarantees. They do the title searches. They handle everything. They handle the wires, all of that stuff, right? I'm not doing any of that. I'm relying on the professionals. I have contractors who are licensed. They have years and decades of experience in their respective fields. I'm not the one changing the outlets. I'm not the one changing the toilets, right? So accountants, financial, it all applies. A real estate investor is only as good as their team, right? So, and if you want to be great at borrowing money, you got to talk about the risks because I promise you, smart people are thinking about what the risks are. They're evaluating everything. When you present a deal to someone, you best believe they're not like, oh, it sounds like everything's perfect and you're going to be awesome, right? Like they're thinking, whether they're saying it or not, okay, what could go wrong? So if I wanted to be a better borrower and be able to pitch deals better and present opportunities more effectively, it's imperative that we talk about the risk. If you're with me, give me a big oh yeah in the chat box, right? Oh yeah in the chat box. Who is a good attorney to use? Well, that's going to be a lot of that's going to be on dependent upon your area. So here in South Carolina, if I'm buying real estate in South Carolina, I would want to have a good real estate attorney in South Carolina. And it's not, and what makes them good, knowledgeable, of course, but we also want to look at who has a nice staff around them, who has great paralegals around them. When you call the office, do they answer? Do they, if you have to leave a message, do they call right back? Because think about this, guys. If you're a borrower and you're handling the closing, you're doing the closing, you pick the attorney, you're buying a piece of real estate, you're picking the attorney's office that you're doing your closing with, or the title company that you're doing your closing with. That's a reflection on you. So if the lender is working with them on the phone, like trying to get the information and you want to make sure they're having a good experience too. So I think that's a lot. There's a lot that goes into what makes a good one, right? But I promise you, there's good people in your local area, right? Do you need an attorney that is in your state or the state the property is in? I would do both. I would have someone in my back pocket that's in my town, and if I was lending, I would probably, in my opinion, now I'm not an attorney, right? I just showed you the slide, right, Leanne? But I would imagine I would want to buy properties wherever I'm buying properties. I want to make sure that the attorney's familiar with the laws, how to write the mortgages, draft the promissory notes in accordance to where the the loan is being done at, right? And where it's being recorded in the county, right? Okay, cool. All right, so here's the game plan. Every single Thursday, 1 o'clock, we start on time. We keep it real estate. There's lots of different things a person could borrow money for. Lots of ways, greatest country in the world, lots of ways to make a dollar. On this call here, we're talking real estate. So if you're here and you're like, I want to learn how to buy fix and flip properties without having to go to a bank. I want to learn how to buy rental properties without having to go to a traditional lender or without having to use my own cash. You're in the right space. If you're in this Zoom call and your goal is to figure out ways where a person could put money to work and have it secured by real estate that's worth much more, you're also in the right spot. So welcome. If you have any questions at all, I do my absolute best to answer the questions in the chat box, just like I have been doing. But if you definitely want your question to get answered, post it in the Q&A section, and then I'll stop usually halfway through and at the end and answer questions that are in the Q&A section. My man Joseph Nagasa, I'm just going to have him say hi real quick so you guys are familiar with his name there. If you have like a logistics question, I teach a class for Private Money Club called the Accelerator Program. So if you're like, hey, I want to learn more about this, Joseph can get you the links and he can get you squared away on enrolling into that class. If you're like, man, I would love to be surrounding myself with a community that understands what private money lending is, so I don't have to go to random networking events and explain to people how it works, then Joseph can help you out here as well. He'll put the information in there for you so you guys can get registered for Private Money Club, right? How do I apply for a PMC loan? Well, let's do this. I'm going to actually pull things up, Michael. I'll pull up Private Money Club Live and just show you what it is, because this is not like a Private Money Club loan. This isn't an institution. What PMC is more like a platform, a social platform where people understand and want to participate in deals that involve private money, whether you're a borrower or whether you are a lender, right? It's pretty simple. It's kind of easy, kind of more simple than I think sometimes people make it out to be. So PMC team is in the chat. All experience levels are welcome. Is there anyone on here that's brand new to real estate? I show my brand new people lots of love. So if you are on here and you're brand new, type it in the chat box. I did see a question here from Frenchie. How can I get a template like Noah's to present my deals on PMC? I'll show you, Frenchie, how you can present deals on PMC. And I also have a slide deck that I use when I present my own deals on Private Money Club. And the best way to get that is I do hand that out in the accelerator course that I teach, right? All right, cool. Wow, lots of folks. All right, thank you for the participation. Kathy, Jay, Louis, I hope I said that right. Rosalind, Vicky, Wall. Okay, lots of people, right? Okay, cool. This is awesome. So what's cool about this is you guys, when you're learning about private lenders, the world's your oyster. Yeah. When I first got started investing in real estate, I was using hard money loans or a combination of that and my own cash, and I could only get so far. And I was paying hefty fees, big deposits, high interest, and it took me a little while, but I love my hard money lenders because without them, I wouldn't have gotten started. But at some point in time, a person might make the transition from going, okay, I'm tired of doing this. And I've met people, I have credibility, I've got a little background. I'm ready to jump into doing some private money lending deals, which is cool, right? I lack the access. So that's good feedback, Andre. I'm going to show you here the website and you guys are going to really like this. But before we do this, I have to provide some context. Okay, so for my 109 people that are on the call right now, including Joseph and myself, what do you think of when you hear the term private lender? What do you think of? What do you think of when you hear the term private lender? What do you think of? Type it in the chat box. Because here's the thing, if we Googled private lender, right? This is how I Google, like this. It's like the Muppets. Right? If we Googled private lender, what there'd be so many results, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of results, right? Many times those Google search engine results, those links are going to be to private lending funds or private lending companies where people have put their money in a fund and then there's someone running the fund, running the company, and they figure out where it all goes, right? Lots of times private lending gets put into the bucket. It's not a traditional bank. So if it's not a Wells Fargo, if it's not a Bank of America, then it must be private lending, right? Because when they're doing their loans, they don't necessarily check all the same boxes that Wells Fargo and Bank of America want to check. So that's where the confusion sometimes is. And not to say that that's not private lending, but in the context of private money club here around this campfire, when we refer to private lending, just like Joseph said, person or an individual, right? Rosalind said individuals lending. Tyrone said not from an institution, right? Albert said unicorns. Now I know why Albert said that because Albert's been on here 57 times. And whenever I talk about private lenders and when I talk about people that I'm friends with outside of private money club, I'm like, you know, in Colombia they call I'm like the private money guy. And I think that's silly because I think if anyone's in real estate, they should be open to using people instead of hard money lending funds or using their own cash. I don't think I don't think there's anything crazy about this, but lots of times, right, Albert, when we're talking to people outside of private money club and we say, hey, you know, like we use private lenders, they look at us like we are unicorns. A private money lender is not a mythical creature. It's not a yeti, right? Like they don't come out from the behind the waterfall on the third Thursday when there's only a strawberry moon like we had the last 2 days. Okay, private money lenders are everywhere. This networking event that I just went to, when I walk in and I see 25 people, in my mind, I immediately go, boom, 25 private money lenders. They just don't know about it yet. Once someone sits down across from me and I have 60 seconds with them, they're going to be excited about it. Whether they're going to be a private money lender today or whether they're going to be a private money lender sometime in the future. I'm going to leave a good impression on them. I'm going to educate them about what's possible, and they're never going to forget about it. That's the goal. So who could be a private money lender? I believe everybody could be a private money lender, right? It's just a matter of figuring out, hey, how does it work? Because if people don't know that this is an option, you know, why would they ever do it, right? If they don't know, right? Most are bubbling with deals and opportunities, but lack funding or access to it. Yeah. So is there anyone on the call right now that has a deal and they're here because they're like, hey, I need funding? I'm curious. Usually we get a handful of people that are like, I'm on here because I need to learn. Show me the money. They're like, go Jerry Maguire, right? Brandon, right? Brandon. All right, cool. Kelly's always like, me. She's been on here a couple weeks in a row, right, Kelly? You're always like, yeah, pick me, right? I'm gonna go Brandon because he's here in South Carolina like me. So Brandon, check this out. Watch this. So this is probably Joseph and I's favorite part of the Quick Start webinar, where we really kind of dissect and get the DNA of who's in the room. One thing that I've learned about this business in sales and life, let's just call it that. It's like sale, like if you're a borrower, guys, Kelly, Brandon, everyone else has said, hey, I have a deal. You got to go into sales mode. You got to go into marketing mode, right? And one of the hardest things to do is to sell something to someone who doesn't want what you have. I feel so bad. Like we have these door-to-door guys, they walk around with their tablets and they just look so lost. And like I have a really long driveway, so I see them stand out in front of my driveway sometimes, and they're like, "Oh my God, do I really want to walk 300 feet to come up to this house that this person probably doesn't even want what I have?" I can see it in their faces. I feel so bad for them, right? Here's a bottle of water, buddy. Get back out there. You got them, right? They're selling to people that don't want what they have. What's cool about this community here, Private Money Club, when you have a deal, you have a community that's salivating at the mouth for good real estate investors and for good deals to put their money to work in. And I'll share with you what that looks like here in a minute, but check this out. So let's do a roll call here. So if you are on the call right now and you love the idea of not having to go to a bank to fund a real estate deal, you love the idea of going to a person, type borrower in the chat box. Let's see it. Borrower in the chat box. Borrower in the chat box. Let's see. All right, here we go. Drum roll. All right, cool. There's my real estate investors, right? I know some of you are driving, some of you can't all chime in or whatever, but right now on the call, we've got 113 people, and you see my real estate investors here, which is awesome. So now you know the next question, because there's always two types of people, right? Borrowers and lenders. So who on the call right now has money that they love, and they love the idea of putting those funds to work secured by real estate that's worth much more? I'm going to call you a lender. All right, let's just give ourselves that identity. Where's my lenders at? Type lender in the chat box. Let's see. Boom. Ralph, lender. Anna, lender. Oh my gosh, they do exist. Maria, lender with 2 exclamation points. Oh my gosh, Leanne, Brennan, they're out there. Look at all these Sasquatch, Yeti, these Loch Ness monster. Everyday people, man. Everyday people. The thing that's cool about, and going back to like, the door-to-door salespeople, right? Like they struggle because no one wants what they got. Well, it's I always compare this like fishing. If you are fishing in a place where there's fish, you're gonna link up with someone or with a fish, right? You're gonna catch one. It's the same thing. If you're fishing in a pond that's rotten water and everything's dead, like you're never gonna catch anything, right? It's all about your surroundings, right? So let me show you what I mean, right? Lenders, lenders, lenders. I love it, right? Kelly's like, I got a great deal. So I'm a big believer that every single person on this call, Joseph, I'm going to ask you to put the link in there just to make it easy for people, okay? I'm a big believer that every single person on this call should have a private money club profile. So if you are, let me do this. If you are a premier member, type premier in the chat box. Let's just see where my premier members are. Type premier in the chat box. Okay, cool. Lucy, right? Patrick. Okay, cool. So they're coming in. Now, anyone can have a private money club profile. You can also create a free private money club profile. Let me show you what I mean, okay? So if you go to privatemoneyclub.com, you can have a free account where you can post one deal. So if you're like, hey, I got a deal, go into Private Money Club, go. I'll show you what to do. Okay, create your profile, right, and just start poking around, right. Start getting familiar with the site and with getting people familiar with you and your name because this is all about relationships, right. This is kind of like a social media site for private lending. Okay, that's kind of how I look at it, anyways, right. So if you got a deal, free profile at least. Now, Premier members have different things that they can do, participate in. They stand out a little bit more. There's some benefits to it. Premier memberships, I don't know, it's less than a couple $1,000. I think it's like $1,500 or something like that. I know Joseph keeps promo codes under his desk, so if you text Joseph, Joseph will be like, "Hey, I got you. I'm gonna hook you up." All right. So, but to what a person could make in real estate compared to an investment in being able to get access to funding, to meet people rather that could possibly fund deals is priceless in my opinion. I was paying hard money lenders. I don't know what you guys pay, for those of you that are currently using hard money lenders, but there's a local company here in Columbia and it's 3% origination fee. So if I borrow $200,000, I'm paying $6,000 in just origination costs and 13% interest. And that's not including like everything that I would have to bring to the table and so on and so forth. When I'm using private money, now I have a good track record. I've got a lot of experience, things like this. I pay 0 points and anywhere from 8 to 12% interest typically. Most of the time I'm paying 10 for my fix and flip projects. So 10% interest, no points, no fees. I don't know where else a person can get funding for fix and flips that like that. Now there's more to it, right? And not all results are typical, right? Nothing in real estate is typical. I've learned that. We've talked about that, right? Every single day you learn something new. But let me show you what I would do. I'm gonna pull this up here. If I had a deal right now and I was on this call, let me just show you these four things, then I'll hop in here. Okay, I've got like 87 slides we could talk about. All right, here's this one here. So look, this is what I would do. Number one. So number one, create the profile. Okay, everyone can have a private money club profile. There's a premier membership. I think it's minimal cost. There's a free membership. So there's no excuses. If you're on the call and you want to do real estate, get in the club. So I'm going to show you how to create a profile, what it would look like. If you have a deal and you are a premier member, one of the things that Private Money Club does is they allow you to hop on what's called Money Club Monday. So every Monday at 1 o'clock, Stephen Nagy, founder of Private Money Club, hosts this webinar and you can share your deals, share a slide deck, take as much time as you want to present your opportunity to people that are actually looking for opportunities. That's the key. And I'm telling you right now, the power of leverage when it comes to being on calls like this, like right now there's 100 and some calls and I like to do these calls, but I get people all the time. I'm not even offering funding for my deals. I get people to go to my website and they opt in, they're on my calendar, and the next thing you know, we're talking about it. Same thing with this. So when you hop on Money Club Monday as a presenter, here's my deal, here's my opportunity. When I've done that personally, there's been anywhere from 50 to 125 people on. They record them and then send them out as well to all of the Private Money Club members and to the YouTube channels and all of these things. So I don't know where a person can get thousands of people looking at their opportunity in less than a week's time. right? That seems a lot better than having to go to like the three friends that you know might do it or something crazy like that, right? So present, take advantage of that. You also want to make sure that you're posting your deals. I'll show you how to do that. And then to get the most out of it and to really learn how to do this business effectively and leverage the platform effectively, I would schedule what the Private Money Club calls a blueprint call with one of the PMC team members. So I'll have Joseph put the link in there so nobody's messaging me directly on how to do that. Joseph, if you could just copy and paste where it says blueprint, you guys click on it, and this team is here to help folks who want help. All right. Thank you, Joseph. Right on cue. All right. So let me share with you what this looks like.
Your real estate business lives and dies by the network and the connections that you make. I mean, after all, your network, well, it's your net worth. That's what you always heard, right? If that's an area where you desire improvement, well, Private Money Club, it's for you. PMC saves you precious time and money by bringing the real estate world, well, right to you, right in the palm of your hand. So get in on the action, like so many others have, by going to privatemoneyclub.com and sign up.
And I'll actually pull up Private Money Club, like their website right now. I haven't done this yet. Usually I log in on Thursdays and like make posts and see what's happening and things like that. I haven't done that yet today, so let's see what's going on in the club. So come over here, boom. This is the platform. It's super sleek. I'm very much got like the social media vibe to it. You know, kind of like a Facebook, but without all the crap that you have to look at on Facebook to network and meet people. This is all money, private lending, real estate. That's what I love about it, right? So you can come in and make posts. If I had a deal right now and I was Brandon, I would come over here and I'd come over to the community tab and I would make a post, boom, and so that when someone logs in right away, they see my post, and it's one of the first things that they see right away. Like, here's my deal, here's the numbers, contact me, so on and so forth. Before you do that, though, we got to have a profile. So when you go in and create your profiles in Private Money Club, here's some things that I found to be an advantage. Whether you do it or not, that's up to you. Now, number one, you got to have a nice picture, have a photo. Chris Naugle calls this the dating website for money. So I imagine it's important to have a photo if it's the dating website for money. I think the thing here is that they want to make sure that you exist. Like, you're a person, you're here for the right reasons, right? Get your photo up there. Start creating familiarity. Remember, this is relationship based, okay? In the essence of it. Now, of course, you're going to look at the asset before you lend on it. Of course, you're going to underwrite it and look and see, okay, is this a good deal? Does this person know what they're doing, right? Are they going to be able to finish this project? Of course, you're going to do those things, but it starts with building the relationships. So I've got my photo there. I've got the photo in the background. Now, PMC allows you to upload some photos here in your profile, and I kind of use these as like free marketing, like billboards. So when you go to my profile, you can click through all the pictures. I have a slide from my PowerPoint from my slide deck. So someone earlier was asking, how do I get a copy of Noah's slide deck? This is my Meet the Team slide, right, that I have. I have a little slide about my market because I'm in Columbia, South Carolina. And then take the time. Remember, go to privatemoneyclub.com, create your profile, and then when you do, make sure you fill this section out, the little bio section. In my section here, or the bio section here, like, I talk about what it looks like to work with me. I talk about my niche, typical loan amounts, you know, real estate experience. And even if you don't have any real estate experience, what's your current experience look like? Like, if you're a nurse, you'd be like, hey, the last 15 years I've been a nurse. You know, I oversaw this, that, the other, and now I'm also doing real estate. So you can still gain credibility as someone that is going to be able to perform. You don't have to be a real estate investor. Like, that's going to come with the more deals that you do. Now, in my profile here, you'll see this little orange envelope thing here, badge. That shows that I'm a premier member. So premier members do have that little label there. And, you know, I'm going to be very transparent. Like, I can't speak for everyone, but if I was looking at two opportunities and one person was a premier member, one wasn't, I'm going to click on the premier member first. I'm not saying I'm not going to click on the other one, but I would click on the premier member first. Like, it just is what it is. Now, these other little badges here they show that I've taken certain classes in Private Money Club. So as a premier membership, you get 2 classes that you can take. This one's a certified borrower course. So it's online. You hop online, virtual, it's recorded. You take some quizzes at the end to get your badge. And then this one's the lender course, same thing. They also have a contract law course that a person can take and things like this. So super valuable stuff, like education wise, just trying to raise the bar and make the community even better. Like, and as you scroll down, as you start doing deals, you'll see people's deals down here. Now, if I clicked on this and I did view all, I don't have any active deals right now that need funding, but here are some of my recent inactives that have gotten funded, right? So as you can see, and I get this question a lot, like, Noah, price points and what do these loan amounts look like? And it can vary. It's just going to depend on you and your marketplace. Right now we have a deal, the ARV is 1.5 million. That's a lot for my area in Columbia, South Carolina. That's like, it's in the nicest neighborhood that we got. Most of my deals are like 200, 250. The ones that you can see here are even lower than that. I think the one down here at the bottom, I think we borrowed 145 for the purchase price and another 50,000 for the renovation costs. So there was a first position and a second position lien on this triplex here, right? So it's going to vary, right? So okay, so those are the deals. Now, if I had a deal right now, I'd come over here and I'd click deal and you guys can see the deal. Now, if I had money, if I was a private lender, I'm doing the same thing. If I'm a private lender, you got to have a profile. You can't just hop in here and be like, no picture and just put like I'm a lender in your profile. No one's going to take you seriously. You're not going to have any credibility. Here's what happens when I post deals. I can't speak for everyone. When I post deals in Private Money Club, I do get multiple people interested. So what I did, and especially when I didn't know anyone in Private Money Club, I was a new member, I was new to the community. I posted a deal, and I got 5 or 6 people that were like raising their hand, and they're like, "I'm interested. I can do it." The very first thing that I did is I clicked on those people's profiles and I looked at them to see like, do I want to work with this person? Who is this person? Is this a person? Right? And so I'm making sure, and I'm like, oh, okay, okay, okay. The people that had their profiles filled out, the people that it's easier to build the relationship with, right? And it's easier to hop on the phone. Here's what I would do. Like, this is the way to get the eyes on the prize. So if you have a deal, post here, post in the community section, get your profile up, become a premier member, share in front of the community. I don't know where else a person can get that many people interested in doing this, looking at it, right? That's what's exciting about it. But we have to remember that it's relationship based. So if I come down here and I click members, right, I'm going to scroll through here. If I had a deal, I would be searching for lenders. I'd be searching for people that are like, yeah, let's talk. But what we want to do, folks, remember this. What we want to do, I actually know all of these people on here. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And one of my lenders, I just passed over one of my lenders. I'm not going to say who it is, but it's pretty cool, right? It's pretty cool. So you can come over here in the member section and find people that you're looking for. I just love it. It's just super cool. I used to have to do it the hard way, not so much anymore. But remember, okay, what was I getting at? This is relationship based. So let me ask you a question. I'm gonna open up the chat here, but get ready to participate for my real estate investors. Okay, for those of you that are I ask this question every week, but I think it proves a good point. For those of you that are buying real estate, how many offers do you have to make before you hear one yes? How many offers do you need to make before you hear your one yes? I love it. Everyone's 50, 50, 100, 45, 100. All right, cool. So we all go into that knowing that we have a certain standard, right? We have a very specific criteria when we're going to buy properties. Relationships are just the same in my mind. So what I would do is if I needed funding, I wanted to really scale my business or just get into the business, I got to come up with a number in my mind. Okay, here in Columbia, South Carolina, let's just say $200,000 fix and flip, like lower price point type, lots of properties like that, right? And if I want to do 5 deals this year, and each deal needs 200,000, in my mind, I need $1 million because it's not going to work out perfect where like you do one and then it sells and then you get to do the next one. It never works like that, right? There's always this overlapping. But if my goal was an income of 200,000 and I believe that I could do that with 200 with 5 flips in this marketplace and I needed $200,000 per flip, I need $1 million. So then my private money lending goal would be $1 million. Now for my lenders, you're just thinking, okay, how much money do I want to make? I got to put that much to work and at this interest rate, and you're kind of re-engineering it that way, right? So if I need 5 people to hit that goal, I'm going into this thinking I need at least 20 good conversations per lender. That's my mindset. If I set the intent, so how do I build those relationships? I start meeting people. I go to Private Money Club networking events. I go to Private Money Club webinars and online stuff that they do. They do a mastermind. I'm active within the community. I'm messaging people on here, right? I'm posting my deals. Your call to action when you post a deal on Private Money Club should not be write me the check. Your call to action when you post a deal should be let's talk. Let's set up a phone call. Let's set up a Zoom call where we can get to know each other. It's about the relationships. And so when you have enough relationships with people, right, go into it thinking, okay, if I have 100 conversations over the next 2 years, really good, conversations, I'm sure I can find 5 or 10 people that I'm going to be doing business with. And it's just easier and simpler to do it in a place where those people already exist, as opposed to having to do it out in the real world, right? And that's the kind of like the essence of what Private Money Club is. So when you come on here, I'll click on one here. I don't know, let's do, who do I know here? I think I did Josiah's last. So if I go over here to Tammy, right? 12%, 12 months, 110,000, right? Easy breezy. Tammy's a premier member. She's taken the borrower course. She's got the logistics here. She's got more information about the property, a couple different options for her lenders. She's got the interest rate she can do, information about the deal. I can come over, I can click on the map here. It's going to take me street view. I can actually go and actually look at the property. All right, there it is. All right, kind of neat. It just makes it so easy now to just do some research here, right? I can cruise up, cruise around, walk around. You guys get the idea. Now, if I had a deal, I'd come over here. Let me go back to deals. And at the top here, I'd go post deal. And I would just type in the address and then start filling out all those financials. Boom, you're up and running. Less than 5 minutes, right? Less than 5 minutes. Okay, so it's different, right? It's different. I see Rodney says here, I've done 2 of my own deals that I bought on owner financing and 5 wholesale deals. I love it. What I will say about wholesale deals, for those real estate investors on here that do wholesale deals, I would 1,000% recommend hopping in Private Money Club to meet private money lenders to fund your wholesale deals instead of having to do contract assignments and double closes. What I found is I make way more money on wholesale deals when I actually buy the properties. I use private lending to do it. Private lenders, you guys should love this short-term transactional funding. Seems like the going rate's anywhere from a flat 3 to 5% of the loan amount, and wholesale deals are very quick, maybe less than 30 days, 30, maybe 60 days tops. So if I'm doing a wholesale deal, which just means I'm buying a crappy property and I'm not the one that's going to be fixing it up, I'm going to sell it to another investor. I go ahead and close on it, use private money, and then I maybe, broom sweep the front porch, paint the door red, mow the lawn, and put it right back on the MLS, for what I believe an investor will pay for it, which is oftentimes way more than I would get putting it out to the general public as opposed to just mailing it to my list of people. So private money, I'm telling you, in Private Money Club now, some of you might not know what the heck I'm talking about, but if you are a real estate wholesaler, that's your thing, that's your jam. You need to be in Private Money Club because there are people in here thirsty for short-term transactional funding real estate deals. All right, so go create those profiles and start telling people about your business and start making those relationships. Okay, good stuff. Yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. I love it. Someone said, however many it takes. That's right, whatever it takes. Okay, let's get into it. So today, what we are going to hit is just talking about elevator pitches, right? We're just talking about the elevator pitches. And by the way, too, like I hate not talking about this, so I'm going to talk about this real quick. Once you have a deal posted, it's really important that you start putting together this, okay? So, and I recommend this for anyone who's also presenting on Money Club Monday. I've seen deals in Private Money Club, and I think sometimes the deals that struggle to get funded or the deals that maybe don't go how people hope that they would go is because they don't have all of the information. And lenders are just trusting people or just not knowing what to ask for. So I feel like at a minimum, If you're going to post a deal on Private Money Club, you should have all of these things here. Put them in a Google folder where if someone says, "Hey, I'm interested," you can send them over the folder, right? Schedule the appointment to talk to them. "Hey, let's talk on Monday." Okay, great. In the meantime, I'm going to send you all the information so that you can look over it, right? So I would start with these things here, right? Inside Private Money Club, we actually have some templates and things like that that you can use. Like Perfect Loan Proposal is one of those templates that a person can use. So I would use that tool that's inside of Private Money Club, right? And you got to have your real estate attorney figured out. You got to have your attorney figured out. You got to have the title company working with you if that's what you use in your state, making sure there's clean title and doing the closings. Funds are never wired directly to the borrower, lenders, okay? Funds should always go through the real estate attorney or the title company. All right, that helps keep everybody safe. And we should also be lending to entities, not people. So if hopefully your real estate investors have LLCs and whatnot set up, and you're not lending directly to John Smith or whatever, right? There's more. I teach a lot of this in Accelerator. If you're like, man, I would love to just dive into this. Like, so I'm just wrapping up tonight's our last call with the last class that we did, the Accelerator course. So the Accelerator course that I teach for Private Money Club, we meet twice a week for 4 weeks, and then there's an additional 4 weeks of help, coaching, and support, right? Where as you're looking at deals, I can help you and give you my thoughts on things, right? And give you questions to ask and so on and so forth, right? Property tax card, great question. So if you go to the county website, type in, the property tax information, pull up property tax card, is just gonna have all the data that's on the county tax website, right? So I want to see property lines. I want to see if the square footage is matching up. I want to see if the person who is on the contract that the real estate investor is buying it from is the current owner, right? I'm looking for all of the data there. I want to make sure I know what this person is buying, and you can find that on the county website. All right, I do teach. Here's the class. I do teach a class. It's called the Accelerator class, Accelerator coaching class. We try to limit it to 20 people. I've got a couple people in there right now retaking. So we're right now, the current class is like 20, 21 or something like that. But yeah, it fills up quick. I know there's a bunch of people already enrolled. The next class that we're going to be doing is in July. So if you're interested in something like that, you can click on the link that Joseph just posted, or you can text message him and he can get you enrolled and get you set up with that. All right. Also, I don't think I hit this. This is really important. So lenders, whenever we're lending money, right? I'm not saying this is the end all be all. Okay, but like big picture, if you were a good friend of mine and we were out back flipping hamburgers on the 4th of July and you said, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing a private money loan. What are like the things I have to have?" This is what I would tell that person, right? You got to have a mortgage or a deed of trust. Like, what makes private money lending so great? The loan is secured by real estate that's worth much more. What makes it secured? The mortgage or deed of trust that's signed by the borrower and then recorded in the county where the real estate is, right? So that's a no-brainer. By the way, when you took a mortgage, when you bought a house that maybe the house that you live in and you got a loan, you got a mortgage, right? And then that mortgage is recorded. And if you don't pay it, what happens? The bank gets your house. It's the same thing, right? We take the same steps. Promissory note outlines the terms of the loan. No handshake deals. Everything's in writing. How are you getting paid? What are you getting paid? When are you getting paid? Right? Who are you paying? It's all there. Personal guarantee, right? So if you're lending to an LLC, we should still be asking for the person that we've been talking to, the person who manages and owns the LLC, to offer a personal guarantee, I believe, right? Lender's title policy, lender's title insurance policy. So if there's anything that comes up, heirs to the property, there's a clouded title. No, we're sleeping well at night, right? We're gonna make sure that we're asking for a lender's title insurance policy too, right? Copy of the settlement statement when you close. You want to see where everything's going, where all the monies are going, right? Attorneys are involved, title companies are involved. Really understanding, are you in a first position or second position, and what's the differences there? Hopefully your borrower has talked to you about that. Real estate attorneys talk to you about that. Is the mortgage being recorded? Number one, I mean, the biggest thing, what makes private money lending sexy? The loan amounts here, the value of the assets up here. If you're lending on deals where you're lending here and the value of the assets here, that's a shitty deal. Sorry. That's no good, right? What makes private money lending attractive? You're lending here, the value of the assets up here, right? And that got that nice little cushion. That's the goal, right? What's the plan for project updates? How are you going to be updated on the projects? You don't want to just wire the funds and then be like, all right, see you in 6 months. Like, I would like a weekly update. Hey, how's the project going? What's new? Did you get the paint color on the walls yet? Like, what's going on? Make you feel a lot better at night when you know what's happening, right? All right, cool. So how I teach the elevator pitch is very much like an elevator, and not in the essence. Like today I went to a networking event and you had 60 seconds. So that, that was, they said elevator pitches, 60 seconds go. So like, okay, I have one of those. And I think everyone here should have one of those. However, I do not believe that to build a good relationship and have an effective relationship where like you can actually help people become your lenders and they can help you, it's going to take longer than 60 seconds to explain this. Okay. How I teach the elevator, and you could do all of this in 60 seconds, you really could. But the biggest rule of thumb here, I want you, everyone on this call, picture yourselves in a hotel lobby. And there's an elevator there, right? Like the Embassy Suites. You can see it up and going up and down. You walk into the hotel lobby, right? You walk into the elevator and there's someone else there. And I believe that this is done in different stages. The elevator, right? There's different things to talk about, different floors. And in order to go to the next floor, the person that you are pitching, the lender, has to be the one that pushes the button. Okay? I like to believe that anyone who's ever talked to me and has ever heard my elevator pitch would never consider it to have been an elevator pitch. I would like to believe that no one that I've ever explained my elevator pitch to or done my elevator pitch to ever felt like they were being pitched or sold anything. All I'm simply doing is sharing things about my business. And I do it in a way where it leaves people wanting to learn more or leaves them and eventually leaves them wanting to participate. So I am never going to force feed the next step or the next statement or the next, explanation of what I do. I'm going to try to create intrigue so that other people are the ones pushing the button to go to the next floor. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, give me a big oh yeah in the chat box. Okay, so it's a little bit different. I do believe you have to be able to figure out what your business model is, your buying criteria, how you keep lenders safe. I do believe that you have to have that in your arsenal, and you have to be able to explain that in 30 seconds or less. That's a skill set that every single person on this call should have or should have the desire to develop. In the accelerator program, I help people develop that skill. All right. So you got to figure it out. Hopefully, you know what it is. But to really do this thing the right way involves taking your time. Some people will be ready in 3 minutes. Some people, it might be 3 years. I'm not the one pushing the button. They're the ones pushing the buttons. All right. So one of the things that, I'll just do this morning give this morning as an example. So this morning I walked in and we're doing speed networking at this networking event I went to. And I'm telling you right now, if someone asks you what you do for a living, you just say real estate, you're dead in the water, man. You're dead in the water. You're not gonna have time to recover, at least not in a 60-second type of situation like I was in this morning, right? Because when you say real estate, what do people automatically think that you do? What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm in real estate. What does that mean to you? I'm just asking. What do you guys think in the chat box? What do you think? Realtor, right? I'm assuming you're an agent, right? So as so what I do in these networking events is as I'm talking to people, I'm first asking them what they do. I'm making it about them. I don't want to talk about me. I want to talk about them. I want to talk about them. Hey, what do you do for a living? Do you enjoy it? Do you like it? How much longer do you see yourself there? What type of education did you have to do that? Right? Oh, that's awesome. What's the best day that you ever have in your career? What's the worst thing that ever happened? I'm so intrigued by them. And I'm gathering all of this data and processing it. And then what's human nature is that person's then going to turn around and ask me, what do you do for a living? And when a person asks me what I do for a living, that's them going, boop, they're pushing the button. They just push the button to go up to the next floor. Now I'm going to start. That's when we start. So you never make it about you. It's always about the other person. You gather as much information about them, what they do, their family life, their career, what they, you're building rapport. They love you because you're listening to them. Boop, tell me what you do. Now, if there was someone at the networking event that I did not want to talk to, which happens, I would say I'm in real estate. And they would say, oh, okay. And then it would just kind of fizzle out. Because I knew if I said I was in real estate, they wouldn't ask any questions. Boring. Everyone knows a real estate agent, right? So what I do is I say, hey, have you ever seen the house flipping shows? You ever seen the TV shows where they flip houses? Number one, I know I'm going to get a yes because everyone has. And I'm not making a statement, I'm making a question. So now he who asks the questions controls the conversations. Have you ever seen those house flipping shows? Yeah, I have. When I say that, people smile. Their eyes get big, their head tilts. I'm looking for those visual cues that they're intrigued. And when they smile, when their eyes get big, when their head tilts, when they're like, "You do that?" Right? I ask them, "Hey, you seem really excited about that. Have you ever invested in real estate?" "Oh, no, I haven't. I'm too busy being a physical therapist and I'm too busy doing this." And, well, it sounds like you're really interested. Yeah, I am. I am really interested. Well, let me ask you a question. What if you could participate in a real estate deal? Like you could be like almost like a real estate investor, but you didn't have to be the one fixing up the property. You didn't have to be the one collecting the rent. You didn't have to have the time, the knowledge, or the team put together like I have. Would you be interested? Would you be interested in participating in something like that? And lots of times they're like, "What do you mean? Tell me more." When someone says, "Tell me more," boop, what is it? They're pushing the button. We're going to the next floor. Well, what I do, the reason why I come to events like this is like, I flip houses and things like that, but really I like to meet people, business owners who are looking for ways to put their money to work. And what I do is I actually, just like a bank, right? You guys see the four little words there, just like a bank. I provide a mortgage, a promissory note, insurance, listing on the insurance as a loss paid, personal guarantee, all the paperwork that the banks require. I provide to people just like you, and you fund real estate deals and work with us in the sense and in the aspect of being one of our lenders. And they're like, "That's really interesting. What kind of interest rate?" Boop, right? "We pay really great interest." "What do you mean? What's really good?" Boop, they're pushing that. They're going up. "We pay anywhere from 8 to 12%. When I say 12%, even though I said 8 to 12, they go, "12%?" I had financial advisors, three of them, that I sat down with. And I let them go first. And they're like, family legacy and da 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 and insurance and IULs and right. They're telling me all about the stuff. Same thing because two of them work for the same company. And then when it's my turn, I'm like, "Yeah, hey, look, I know you probably have clients. Maybe you have clients. Maybe yourself. You're getting them set up in IRAs and they're trying to figure out ways to use their life insurance policies or whatever. Like, let me know. I pay anywhere from 8 to 12% interest, right? You see it? Now they're thinking 8 to 12. Holy cow. Now this is important. Any question that they ask after this, they're pushing buttons, right? Boop, 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 boop. They're pushing buttons. Any question, I don't care what it is. I'm done. Okay. And the next step is let's hop on a phone call together. Let's go grab coffee. Let's hop on a Zoom. Okay. And I can walk you through some things. I'll show you some examples. Maybe I'll show you a property. I'll take you by one. Right. The next step is a one-on-one meeting. And where a lot of people struggle with this and fail with this is they go into the elevator pitch with the intent of, "I need a check. I need funding." Pros, right? I hate saying what I do. I don't know. Maybe somebody. This has worked for me. I go to these elevator pitch scenarios with the thought process of all I'm trying to do is just get a meeting because I know that if they like me in 60 seconds, they're gonna love me in 45 minutes, right? When I show them what I do for people, right? So remember this, guys, as you go into your elevators pitches, the intent of the elevator pitch is to sell a meeting. You're not selling anything else other than more time to sit down one-on-one and do it proper. Because there's nothing proper about building a relationship in 60 seconds. Okay, it's gonna take some time to cultivate that, right? So hope this is good stuff. Yeah, so I pay 8 to 10. Yeah, great question, Alma. 8 to 12% annualized interest. Yep. Each loan opportunity is unique. That's what I tell them. Each loan opportunity is unique. And then one of the things I think the accelerator class students really love, and this is probably one of my favorite things, I actually love doing a private money lender one-on-one meeting. It's my favorite thing in the world to do. I love going through things with people, telling them about our business and how it works and all these things. And when you get really good at explaining it, I have a little checklist. I have a system that I work off of to make things a little bit easier and stay organized. People seem to really like it, right? Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna give you some action steps, and then I'm gonna answer some questions. I know I went over time a little bit. I'm big on making moves. Okay, I'm big on making moves. What does that mean? What does making a move mean? Well, let me find the slide here. Hopefully you guys are, oh, what's the word? Taking action, right? I know every Thursday we do this call. This is here to set up a time and a space where we can practice, we can stay sharp. But, hopefully you're progressing and taking on different things and actually moving forward with things, right? And not just eating a turkey sandwich and listening to the crazy guy talk about private money lending for 68 minutes on a Thursday, right? So, number one, create your PMC profile. If you don't have a profile on Private Money Club yet, go set it up. Set it up. It's free. Why wouldn't you do that? If you like the free and you're like, man, I need to get next level, go jump Premier, right? Jump to Premier. It's only, I don't know how much, $1,500. Joseph's got the promo codes. Hit them up. Schedule a blueprint call with the team. So if you have a PMC profile and you have not yet done anything with it, I would schedule a blueprint call with the team so they can say, hey, look, this is probably what I would do. This is how I would work this, whatever, right? This maybe looking to taking this class, right? They can guide you. PMC has these certification courses. They're PMC certified is what they call it, right? So you can take them. It's free with your Premier membership. That's how you get the little borrower badge and the lender badge next to your name. My next accelerator class starts July 8th. So if you're interested in working with me, I know on the website it says that these are like hour-long coaching sessions twice a week. I feel like we go 2 hours every time. So it's like 16 hours of coaching with me and then access to me with email support and things like that after the fact to help answer any questions you have after the class. So it's a real in-depth, it's designed to really get you, collapsing the timelines to get you knowledgeable and up and running as quick as we can. And if you haven't been to a live networking event that's put on by the Private Money Club, the Money Tank event is our flagship event going down in Orlando, Florida. I believe it's November 7th and 8th. So circle that on your calendar. If you need tickets to that, Joseph can help you out. The team can help you out. I think there's some early bird discounts. Maybe those have come and gone, Joseph. I'm not sure, but you don't know unless you ask, guys. All right. So make a move. Make a move. I only come out when the strawberry moon is strong. Of course, Albert. Of course. All right. Tell me again, EMUH the classes? When the classes? We start July 8th. We start the next class July 8th, right? Got to edit the PMC profile. Absolutely. Let me see if there's any questions. We'll hit those and to the best that I can. And then we'll sign off here. All right, cool. All right, so I'm a contractor looking to JV with an investor. How do I go about that? That's a great question. I don't know if this person is still on the call because it was early on in the session. There was actually a really good webinar done by, I think her name is Jamie, and it's in Private Money Club. So if you go into Private Money Club, and you'll see it was a student. It wasn't a PMC sponsored thing, but she's an attorney and she shared what to do when you're doing joint venture agreements, what's really important when it comes to joint venture agreements. So I would hop in Private Money Club and make sure I went through that because that was a nice little webinar put on by an attorney who specializes in that, which is pretty cool. My question though, Amir, would be why? Why are you joint venturing? And this is important. So lots of times I meet people, especially contractors, because you can do the work and then another person has the money, you think it makes sense that it's 50-50 split. If that's your scenario, I can't speak for tell you what to do, but if it was me and I was a really good contractor and I had another person that had the funding, I would not split 50-50. I'd be like, hey, I pay anywhere from 8 to 12% interest on your money like clockwork. You know exactly what you're getting when you're getting it. You're making a nice double-digit rate of return. What's not to love about that? So I don't let people who have the funds kind of bully you into thinking this is your only option. Because if you join Private Money Club, you can meet lots of people who would be ecstatic to make a 10 to 12% interest rate on the funds that they're lending you as opposed to splitting profits. I hate partnering personally. There's no need. When buying, unless it's a big project and, they're really bringing something to the table, okay? When buying multifamily or a hotel, sometimes you can assume low interest rate. No, yep. Please explain how the first position and second position works with private money. That's a great question, David. First position, second position. So oftentimes it's all about lean position. So if someone's funding let's say I need $250,000 to do this fix and flip deal, and I have one investor who's like, I got 200,000. I got another one that's like, hey, I'd really like to participate, but I only have 50. I'm gonna give I'm gonna create a mortgage, promissory note, all of the steps, all of the things. An attorney's gonna create it, and then I'm gonna borrow 200,000 from the one. The attorney's gonna record that as a first position lien. The 50,000, if I needed it, I'd say, okay, you can come in. I'll give you the same things I gave the other person: mortgage, promissory note, insurance, everything. You're gonna be in second position because the money's less, right? I reward people who do more. So he's out of first position. So if I don't pay that person back, if I didn't pay David back, David forecloses, house goes to foreclosure, first position is always paid first. Whatever's left over, if whatever is left over goes towards the second. So it's a much riskier spot to be in. If I do the class, does that guarantee I get funded? Absolutely not. So absolutely not. Because I mean, look, your deal could stink. You could stink. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. There's so many scenarios. I don't know how many people you're gonna talk to or whatever. Like, so yeah, no guarantees, but nice try. All right, guys, signing off. All right, take care. I'll see you next week. See you next week. Have a good one. All right, bye.